Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Pineville City Council meeting. Today's date is March the 10th, 2026. The time is 5 p.m. If you have any cell phones, please place them in the silent mode at this time. Also, if you have any questions or comments on any agenda item, please stand or raise your hand at that time and you will be recognized. Once again, I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to ask Councilman Martin for the invocation and the pledge by Councilman Kevin Dorn. Please stand.
Father, we're grateful, as always, to have the opportunity to serve our citizens. What a great honor it is. You, Jesus, taught us that there is no greater way than the way of service. So help us, Lord, tonight as we walk through this agenda, treat each item with due respect, the weightiness that it deserves. Lord, we ask you for wisdom that every decision we make should truly be made according to your guidance. We humble ourselves and recognize that we're not capable on our own, but with your guidance, your help, and your instruction, we will serve our citizens well. Thank you for those who serve us, those who are law enforcement, fire protection, and public works, where every one of those are doing an incredible job of lifting up our city. We ask for your protection and your blessing on them. Lord, in this season, as we move into from the winter into the spring, we're reminded of renewal. We're grateful for the gift of life. We give you thanks for all of these things. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, would like to welcome our citizens that are watching this council meeting live stream from at home right now. Item number 4, roll call, please.
Councilman O'Neill,
Here.
Councilman Dorn,
Here.
Councilwoman Frederick,
Here.
Councilman Marquez,
Present.
Councilman Martin. Present, sir. Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. Item number 5, accept the minutes of the February 10th regular council meeting as published.
So moved.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Item number 6, our financial report by Mr. David Humphreys.
Mayor, council members, if you will look at your financial report, we were a little late getting it into all of you, but Mr. Workman got all that scanned and updated to you. Our sales tax collection report, we began our bank account balance with $1,071,417. We had deposits of $2,992,300, withdrawals of $3,480,576, leaving a remaining balance of $583,141. February of 26 sales tax collections, $1,348,407. In comparison to February of 25, which was up last year, it was $1,350,271, which is 0.14% or $1,864 down. That's as pretty close as you can get tax-wise. It's showing it was pretty much a flat month. So if you look at the graph at the bottom of your financial report, you'll see it's been up, up, and up. And this year we're pretty much flat with the prior year. Occupational licenses are due January 1st, become delinquent on March 1st. So you have people start, businesses renewing their license at the end of December, January, and February. You will have some that's still going to continue on in March. They'll be considered delinquent, but they'll be coming in. That's your occupational, chain store, amusement, alcohol. Alcohol is going to be in June. So for occupational license, you had a total of $249,101 that came in February of 26, in comparison to February of 25, which was $259,265. That was a 3.94% decrease. Remember, that's just a timing. Some may have renewed in January, some may hit in March. But overall, we're up 11.88% in occupational business license. We have more and more businesses coming in. And if you went around town this weekend, I cannot promote it enough. We have a lot of people are shopping local. If you started all the way from the Walmart, you come all the way down to the Lowe's, to businesses in between. You had TJ Maxx, that parking lot was slap full. Everywhere you went, there was people out and about, and they were shopping from springtime purchasing, from the home improvement all the way to clothing. So it was a well-rounded, season. I think we will see it for next month.
Okay. Any questions to Mr. Humphries?
Summers, if I recall reporting, people have until the 20th of the following month to report, and then typically we get that the next month. So it's probably a 2-month delay.
Yes, sir.
See a TJ Maxx today.
Yeah, and for everyone that's, for sales tax, your January sales are not reported until February 20th. It's not, so that will really hit, you'll start seeing it really in March whenever you do the report. So just understand, it's a month and a half, 2 months delay before you actually see those sales.
So probably May
Yep.
before we see the
Yeah,
effect for
but
TJ
you will
Maxx
start
and-
seeing, we had a very exceptionally warm March. And you're starting to see more and more people were started picking up stuff in February. I mean, we had a warm February. So February sales tax will be reported. You're gonna hit that in March. So you're gonna start seeing in March and April, you're gonna start seeing those taxes start increasing.
Thank you, Mr. Humphrey.
All right.
Great
Thank you.
explanation.
Appreciate you. Item number 7, condemnation hearing continuation from a single-family dwelling lot located at 115 Holly Oak Street, owned by Evelyn Callahan. Mr. David.
Mayor and council, y'all conducted a condemnation hearing for this particular property. You had provided the property owner with 60 days to make improvements and to try to persuade by his actions, improvements at the property, that the property not be condemned. I'd like to ask, we attempted to provide service to the property owner, but I think they knew they were supposed to come to this meeting. Is there anyone here representing the property owner? The property owner was listed as Mr. Workman. Tell me his name.
Evelyn Callahan.
Evelyn Callahan. Is Ms. Callahan or anyone representing Ms. Callahan here tonight? Mayor, the work on the house, they installed a little bit of shingling, a very tiny amount. They did a little bit of framing work with some plywood. It looks like they scabbed a few pieces of lumber up. I don't think as often when people undertake these projects, they don't really understand what it takes to build solid, decent, safe, and sanitary. I priced the other day, and I think they're stuck. I had no idea. You go to get a 2x4, it's $14. You know, and you're going per each or 10. I think it was $12. And you know, I was thinking a 2x4 was $2. Yeah. You know, and I think people don't really understand the cost of what it takes to renovate something, and I think they really believe that they can, and then the realities of what the scope of the work is probably overwhelms them. Without the property owner here tonight, I really don't know what to tell you, but I don't know if it would change our recommendation, because I think this property is what we would call a condemnation by neglect. It's been neglected year after year after year, and it's gotten into the condition that it is. I really wish the property owner was here to tell us what their plans are, but for the past 2 months, I would say they probably done $200 worth of work on the property.
Correct. Mr. Dorn, this is your area.
I make a motion that we move forward.
Okay, I have a motion to move forward with condemnation. I have a motion, a second, discussion.
How much time do you want to give the clearance?
Y'all get to decide. Do you want to give them, in this case, I doubt if they would tear it down. Yeah, we often give 90 days in the chance that the property owner might tear it down. I doubt that they would. So in this case, and we're really in no rush. 60 to 90 days, whatever y'all decide.
Recommendation of our city
90 days.
And then
Yeah.
we go from there. I mean, we did everything. We give them ample opportunity to move forward and to save this if that was their intention. So let's move
Yeah.
forward.
I totally agree. So I have a motion and a second already. I'd like to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this, please.
Councilman O'Neill,
Yes.
Councilman Dorn,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frederick,
Yes.
Councilman Marquez,
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed.
Thank you, sir. Moving right along, item number 8, consider adopting an ordinance and amend and modify code of ordinance by adding chapter 32, article 2, section 32-54, directional boring and trenching permit. Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilman O'Neill,
Yes.
Councilman Dorn,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frederick,
Yes.
Councilman Marquez,
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Motion passed, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Item number 9, consider adopting an ordinance and amend and modify code of ordinance by adding chapter 32, article 4, prohibition of the deposit of yard debris into public streets and drainage systems. Got a motion? Need a second?
Second.
Got a second? Roll call vote, please.
Councilman O'Neill,
Yes.
Councilman Dorn,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frederick,
Yes.
Councilman Marquez,
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Mayor, motion passed.
Thank you, sir. Item number 10, approve a resolution and accept the mayor's recommendation of reappointing Samuel Rowland into the Pineville Housing Authority Board of Commissioners. Got a motion?
Second.
I got a second. Discussion?
Well, thank him for his,
No, Mr. Rowland's not here. Yeah, we appreciate his years of service to that board. Absolutely. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Item number 11, approve a resolution and approve the mayor's recommendation to adjust sanitation, water, and sewer rates for the calendar year of 2026 pursuant to the city ordinance 2025-362, 2025-364, and 2025-365.
So move.
I have a motion, have a need a second? Second, discussion. Mr. David. Oh, Mr. David, would you please come forward? And once Mr. David speaks, and then I'll be more than glad to hear you out, please.
Mayor and council, I'd set the stage. I have a box at my office that sits on the side of my desk, and it has, it's called City of Pineville Utility Rates, and it has in there since 1960 the discussions where these issues would come up on how do we raise rates, how do we compare them to the cost. And what it clear, when I pick it up, what's amazing is I think I can commit from history that one thing we can say is the utility rates will increase. It is just the nature of the animal. And what we're facing with is that the city of Pineville has always worked very hard to make sure that y'all fit within your peer group, also within the needs of running your system, but within your peer group. And I'm going to show you something that, because the chief of staff had asked me, Tom, let's talk about the affordability. My firm surveys over 100 utility companies in the state, and we try to see what their rates are. And every time we've done it, and we do it on the behalf of the city of Pineville, we start this to see where is Pineville in this ranking. And Pineville, one of these is a person in this particular chart. Here's a person that lives in with the Monterey water system. They're paying $64. In Pineville, you're paying $21 for this example. So it goes from the highest to the lowest. And Pineville has always worked very hard. You'll see in this chart, always been right in the middle, because that was what the prior mayors always said, Tom, we want to be in the middle, but I don't want to be the high guy. I can't be the low guy. So we always work to be in the middle with your peer group, and you still are right in the middle. What y'all are facing in your, years ago, we did not raise your rates annually. The government has a cost of living index. It's called the Consumer Price Index U. I get my Social Security check now. The government ups mine every year by that consumer price index. Embedded in that in that Social Security check is a rate for water, sewer, and electrical utilities, the basics of life. So the government looks at what inflation is across the nation, and they do a cost of living index. Utility companies or municipalities around the state began saying it, and I will say my dad introduced this to the city of Pineville. He said, Mayor, y'all are getting killed with inflation. You need to adapt your utility system to accommodate inflation. And so in the city of Pineville, in February of each year, y'all always adjusted y'all's rates a little bit with inflation, because if my Social Security went up, the city of Pineville went up on your rates. Now, there's a flaw in that thinking, I'll go ahead and tell you. There's the cost of living that's the consumer price index that's spread out all over, but there's another index that the government has, the water and sewer index. And it's called the water and sewer and utility index. It is always much higher going up than what your regular index is. And if you think about it, why? It's because you're dealing with utilities that are in the ground. They're very expensive. In your case, the age, and the mayor, we were looking at this on Jones Street the other day. We have a sewer line in there that is close to 100 years old. The life of a utility system is the life of a man, 70 years. Anything beyond 70 years is a gift. Everything from the railroad track in is over 70 years old. Then from the railroad track out to probably Donahue Ferry is probably getting ready to plan to go to the nursing home. And then we have the new subdivisions out there that are probably 40 or 50. And who would think? Village Green? Village Green was new. Village Green's probably been there 50 years now. Okay? So you're dealing with a very rough environment, something that's buried and is very expensive. So the utility index for utilities is always more. And we would always caution you as the engineer, say, Mayor, you're not meeting inflation. And in this case, the CPI for this past year was, I think, 4%. Y'all only went up 2%. Yeah, that's why you're adopting this resolution, because normally y'all would go up automatically, and you said, hey, let's not. Right. Let me tell you another dilemma you're facing. The legislature has, when cities have problems with their water and sewer system, and you say, oh man, we can't do anything, it's so expensive, we can't borrow the money, let's go to the state and see if the state will give us some money. The state said, we're done with that. Here's what we're done with. Every time we turn around, we give y'all a grant, y'all don't raise your rates, you don't maintain your system, and then you come back to us, and you want us to solve your problem. We said, we're done with that. If we give you a grant now, you must do this. And so every water system in the state is going through this angst. You must pay for your operations and maintenance. You must cover your debt service. You must cover your capital improvements that you do. In addition to that, you must put, and they don't call it profit, they call it sustainability factor. You have to have 15% over all of those expenses, so that in case you have an emergency somewhere, you'll have enough money in the bank to run your system, instead of running to the state and say, give me. And the state's saying, no, your customers need to pay. They're the ones that benefit for this. So they're the ones that that benefit from the water and the sewer improvements. So here's the dilemma we're up against. When we applied and got a $5 million grant from the state to do Cedar Lake Pump Station, embedded in that grant application was a requirement under the water sector program that you make sure you have an audit and you pass a state audit, plus you make 15%. I don't even know sustainability. Yeah. They gave us that grant, so we must have been doing okay. Every 5 years they want you to do that. That is that grant program. The new grant, you know, our CDBG grant program, we'd never had that, the one we always go and ask and get $1 million here and $2 million there. Their new requirement is if you ask for sewer system or water system improvements, we've got a grant now. We've asked for College Drive to do new water lines all up in that area in the old part of the city in there. If we get that grant, the requirement, if you accept that grant, 100% grant, if you accept it, you must have a rate study audit and you must have that 15% sustainability. So every new program, LDEQ, the other program, we get low interest loans and grants. They've now added it. So it's coming in all directions at you. I would say the city of Pineville has always worked to try to maintain just enough that you could sustain your system, but also stay in your peer group. And I'm going to end it at this. Everybody always says it's too expensive, and it is. I wish it was free. I have another mayor in our sister city, and he always says that our job is I can never promise my citizens that I can reduce the rate. The only thing I can promise them, I'll fight like crazy to keep the rate from going up as much as I can, but still to keep my system sustainable. So the government has an affordability index, EPA, and they'll you can go look it up and say, what's the US EPA affordability index? And what it says is, if you look at a community, they try to figure out what's affordable for a poor household, okay? And what they say is, you can take up to 3% of the median household income for water and sewer. If you go more than 3%, you begin to burden a poor family. Now, they're not talking about Tom David, my house. They're talking about the poor family, okay? In Pineville, your median household income, and we're blessed, we're $49,000, close to $50,000 on average. So if you take $50,000 and you take 3% of $50,000, that's $1,500 a year. You divide $1,500, somebody smart, by 12, I think it's $125 a month. So if a poor person is paying more than $125 a month for water and sewer, then the government would say, guys, y'all got to talk. That's getting to be a burden. I can assure you the city of Pineville doesn't have anywhere near that, because people would be going crazy. But in New Orleans, that's what I pay. Yeah, in New Orleans, a poor person does pay for water and sewer $125, and you can look at the chart. I have a home in New Orleans, and don't use anything out of it, and it's $125 for water and sewer. So that is our comment. It is going to be a challenge. You going up 2%. Me, as your technical advisor, I'd say, Mayor, you're not going up enough, because if you ignore inflation, it will eat you up one day. And we had a mayor one time that, and I've had many of mayors that did not raise rates, and they were very proud that they could say, I haven't raised the utility rates for X years. And then one day, the day of reckoning came, and some government agency, or they wanted something, or said you have to do it. Then the burden, it was, it's pitchforks and screaming and hollering, because we didn't do our job to keep up it like on a business. So I think it is prudent business to adjust it annually to what you really know, and don't ignore inflation. It is eating at you every day. Now, I'd have a different story, completely different story, is if this was a brand new city and we had just built the brand new sewer system and the new water system. Those are the lucky days, because then you can say, I'm not really worried about it. We got time. You know, when you buy your new car, you're not worrying about it. But if you have a 15-year-old car, you're worrying about it every day. Right. Well, we got a 20-year-old car here, like I said, so you can't ignore it. If it was new, ignore it. Mayor, I hope that's kind of my comments on it.
Well, Tommy, I appreciate that. And just to let the audience know, we're fixing to extend a water main from Shamrock to Highway 165, where the new Giles Hyundai and the Why Not stop is. That's that one little project. We're fixing to spend $700,000 just on that one water main.
Mayor, it is amazing, and the public would probably be stunned. I tell them that if Troy calls us and says, we have a sewer problem, could you come out and look at it and help us get a contractor? When that call occurs, and I have to go to the mayor's office, it's so routine, it's $100,000. Yeah. Every time you turn around, you're going, that's crazy. But to get a contractor, just to get it, it's so expensive. Yeah. It's just ridiculous. And it's blowing, because I'm stuck in the 70s thinking what things cost. And I'll go, no, I can't. But that's what it costs. So, Mayor, I don't want the job of people, everyday management, trying to run a water and sewer utility system of an old utility, because it is always going to be a burden. But you have to have it. If we didn't have it, we wouldn't have a city.
That's correct. Right. Public comment? Is there any other public comment? Please come to the podium, state your name and your address, please, ma'am. Take your time.
My name is Elizabeth Stelke, and
What's your address, ma'am, please?
1607 College Drive.
Okay, thank you.
And I was very fortunate today. I called downtown, and Troy came out and sat with me on my porch, which is one of the reasons I love Pineville. And we talked about this, and I had spoken earlier with Christy. My concern about this resolution when I first read it this morning was that it doesn't, well, first off, I don't know what 362, 364, and 365 is, because I don't work here. The second thing is when I spoke to Troy, he said that 2% was the usual, but that he didn't know what was going to happen tonight, because he said that this is something that the council doesn't have to approve, or the council has to approve, or maybe I misunderstood him, because it concerns me that this decision might be left up to just one person, the mayor, to decide, because I am retired and I live on a fixed income.
I totally understand.
And although the CPI theoretically covers increase in costs, things like insurance in Louisiana and both car and housing insurance have gone up prohibitively in the last 5 years. And I'm just trying to make a decision about whether it's viable for me to sustain here. And I don't believe that I am alone in that issue. So I had two concerns. One is that it would be left up to one person, and the other one is, how much is it going to be, or how can we figure out how much it's going to be so that we can sustain. I've lived in Pineville for 15 years. It's the longest I've ever lived any place in my entire life, which I think says something about y'all. For one thing, you're patient. But I really love it here. It really is I live in a lovely neighborhood. I have lovely neighbors, and I would like to be able to stay here. But it is going to depend on how much I have left in the bank account at the end of the month, and water and sewer is part of that. Thank you.
Most
Mayor,
definitely.
let me-
Thank you, Tommy.
We did make a change, so for probably, and we'd have to look it up, but I know for the past probably 15 to maybe 20 years, when the city council years ago adopted your utility ordinance, it said effective, you would receive the consumer price index urban in January of each year, and it would automatically be pasted onto your bill in February. In the past recent, I don't know, but y'all changed it and you said, no, we want the city council to vote on it, so it's not automatic. That's why y'all are doing it tonight. For all those prior years, it just went chink, chink, chink automatic, and it went on their bill, and it would change, like if somebody's got if somebody could help me on this math, but if you had a $20 bill now, it would go up 2%.
40 cents.
40 cents. Well, but with the CPIU this past year, I think it was 4%, so it would have gone up 80 cents. So I think y'all, somehow y'all said, no, I want to have this, and you're only going up 2%. But it has been automatically, and the citizens may not know it, but every February, their bills always were adjusted by the CPIU. The 1 year y'all didn't do it was during COVID. I think it was
That's right.
8%, and y'all said, we can't do that, we're only going 5.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, Mr. David, is that, and I'm sure the chief has the ordinance there. What that ordinance was doing is giving the mayor the ability not to go with what
The CPI.
the CPI was. He could go lower, but he could not go over what
Okay.
government said. If I'm-
Yeah, it has to be, so it has to be recommended by the mayor, approved by the council by resolution of what it is tonight. To answer the lady's question, so currently, right now, Your price for 3,000 gallons, which is your normal rate, is $21.94. The increase goes from $21.94 to $22.38. I'm not that great at math, but roughly 9-ish cents is what the increase on water would be. The increase on sewer is the same thing. So 94 cents more a month per water and sewer. So remember, sanitation is divided. We have a disposal fee that is separated amongst all customers, depending what that tonnage is that moves with it, and the other one is going, the stagnant rate is going from $28.61 to $29.18.
But this doesn't affect the disposal rate, it only affects the collection rate.
Correct.
The disposal is, it varies every
Disposal
month.
is always fluid, depending upon what the tonnage amount for
Whatever it costs
disposal
us at
is.
the landfill.
And Mayor and Councilman Dorn, if I recall, and I think maybe the reason Mr. Troy may have made the comment, if we don't act tonight, it will do the 4% automatically.
Yes.
So the action tonight is to approve the mayor's recommendation to not go up that high. So that's why he said the council doesn't have to vote on it, because it would automatically do that, as I recall.
And my recommendation tonight is to go with a 2% CPI adjustment. So. Yes, ma'am.
No, that's
No,
good.
you're great. Thank you. And that's the reason we hold council meetings, for the citizens to come here to voice your opinion and stuff like that and work together, okay? Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you.
Thank you for coming and asking
Is there
the
any
question.
other public comments? Mr. Hugh Hall, come forward and state your name and address, sir.
Good evening. My name is Hugh Hall. I live at 1610 College Drive. Liz and her husband Sam are as good of neighbors as you could possibly have. And I'm just going to kind of reiterate on Mr. David's comments. I'm on both ends of the spectrum where I've been. You know, as a citizen, you never want to see rates and anything go up. But I've been on the other end too, and Mr. Burns will attest that till you see a price list of what things cost to operate, brass has gone out the roof. And I think I'm going to make a simple statement here, and I think Mr. Burns will kind of back me a little bit on this. For a simple water leak on a 6 or 8 inch line, you're going to burn up a $1,000 bill. Whether it's a 3-inch break or a 6-inch break or a 6-foot break, you're going to burn. That's what the cost has gone up to. And I understand both ends of the spectrum, but I know what it costs to operate. Mayor, Mr. Burns, Mr. Humphreys, everybody here on the staff, that's what it takes to operate. And that's kind of what I'm trying to kind of help, you know, people understand the cost of operating every day. That's not counting labor, equipment upkeep, just, you know, sometimes if you could see a price list of what the parts and what Mr. Burns and them spend, you know, to go get a stock part price. When I first came to work for the city, we could go get stock parts, would last anywhere from 6 weeks to 2 months for about $6,000, $7,000. Mr. Burns will probably back me up on this. It's about $12,000 now for the same amount of parts for the same length of time. So I didn't mean to get in on this too deep, but I just kind of wanted to help put that out there to the consumers also and the citizens, let them know what it takes to operate. And that's not counting the sewer side. That's just counting the water side. So
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Appreciate
Mr. Hall.
Is there any other public comment?
The
Yeah.
only other comment I would make, Mayor, is we have a lot to be thankful for in terms of our property tax. Ms. Stelke, if you look at what Maryland charges for property tax compared to what you pay in the city of Pineville, which is probably $60 for property tax here, it's a bargain. So you need to look at the total package when you're considering leaving. We don't want you to leave. So look at the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Thank
One
you.
of the things I noticed too on Mr. David was comparing Pineville to Monterey, Louisiana. They're paying almost 3 times as much for a city that now is less than 400 population, or a village, I guess. So, I mean, that's the savings, so it's 2%. So we're in a good area right there.
Okay. All right, on item number 11, I'd like a roll call vote.
Councilman O'Neill.
Yes?
Councilman Dorn.
Yes.
Councilwoman Frederick.
Yes.
Councilman Marquez.
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Mayor, your motion passed.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Item number 12, approve a resolution to approve and ratify the mayor's execution of the lease of immovable property for the continued use of a debris disposal site, and this is on Crepe Myrtle Street.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
I have a motion.
Second.
I got a second. Discussion?
That's our green waste.
Green
Right.
waste landfill.
Right.
Yes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Item number 13, approve a resolution to award contract for Lot 4, asbestos abatement, demolition, and clearance of dilapidated and blighted structures, fiscal year 2023 LCDBG, to the lowest bidder, 1703 Melrose Street, 307 Baker Street, and 200 Wadley Street. So moved. Have a motion?
Second.
Have a second. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Mayor, the only comment I would make is I'm grateful we had so many bidders. Sometimes we don't get many bidders, so I'm grateful for that. Tom, thank you, your office, for managing that. And that was my only comment, Mayor.
All right, thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Item number 14, approve a resolution authorizing the mayor to serve notice to the property owners at 55 Hillcrest Drive and schedule a public hearing for condemnation.
So moved.
I got a motion.
Second.
Got a second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Item number 15, approve a resolution authorizing the mayor to serve notice to the property owners of 107 Bell Road and schedule a public hearing for condemnation.
So moved.
A motion, I have a second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Item number 16, introduce and accept for publication an ordinance to amend and modify the Code of Ordinance, Chapter 16, Article 2, Division 1, Section 16-21, to adopt internal fire codes.
So moved.
Have a motion, I have a second. Discussion. What this is, just to let everybody know, this bringing our fire codes up to ordinance. It's just like the international building codes, so they change, and we have to keep up with the international fire codes. All in favor say aye. Any
Aye.
nays? Motion carries. Is there any other business? Ms. Frederick?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. If I could ask for a moment of personal privilege to acknowledge some work that's being done in my neighborhood and right in our midst in the city of Pineville. I think it's a good idea to shine a light on excellence, and so I'm pleased to be able to do that. Aaron, would you just stand up so we can know who you are? This is Aaron LaCour. Aaron is just turned 28 years old. Let me just take a moment and tell you a little bit about, he has a portfolio of some 20 properties. A lot of it is in District 3, but it's throughout the city. He has personally undertaken complete renovation of a dozen of these properties. Somebody in the audience earlier said, well, he's like a one-man urban renewal machine, and he really is. For a young man who started in college, buying and flipping and restoring houses and revitalizing them, it really is a tribute to the young man that he is. His mother's here. I know his grandparents well. So I just wanted to say he also owns about 8 other properties and some tax interest in another 8 or so. So Aaron has his heart in Pineville and his heart in the business. And I just want to say how much I appreciate all the work you're doing, Aaron. Thank you for being here.
Here, here.
Once again, thank you, Aaron, and I appreciate you living here in the city limits of Pineville and everything you're doing with some of these older properties and stuff. The citizens really see and respect what you do, okay? Thank you again. Once again.
Yes, indeed.
Mr. Tudor, would you like to say something?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilor. Mike Tudor, 725 Hiawatha Trail, where I've lived since 1974. So I've got some tenure here in the city also. But I also wanted to stand up in the way I serve on the Downtown Development District. And we're all about preserving and rehabilitating and renovating the older parts of the city. And the mayor's right about the water rates. Tom, that was a great presentation. As we forget, we celebrate how old Pineville is, but it comes with lots of baggage, and I would encourage the council to try to stay on top. Shreveport just learned a tragic lesson of not keeping up with old pipes. Shreveport's about as old as we are, and they were without water for a week. You think you're gonna get some people sitting here about rates, wait till you don't have water for a week because we haven't repaired the old pipes. That's the other side of the coin. But I wanted to say, Aaron, I appreciate everything you've done. And anecdotally, it's actually helped my family. My son, Chris, lives on Oakland Street at the corner of Oakland and Lala, where you know, and you took that house across the street, which was really a source of depreciation for everybody that lived around it, and you renovated it. And what that does, folks, is any study will tell you that most Americans' greatest asset is the equity in their home, okay? And so when you renew and renovate that house, that's actually money in my son's equity and the people that live around it. And another reason that I want to say, in a way, you've put money in people's pocket. They just hadn't thanked you for it yet. And I would finally say, that's another reason why we have zoning. Yes, you run up against unfortunate personal situations. You want to do the right thing, but not taking an aggressive action on protecting homeowners if you have a cancer in that neighborhood, the kindest thing you're doing is you're protecting the equity in these people who've relied on R1 zoning, as tough as it may be. But in essence, thank you. Of course, I knew your grandmother. Pat and I worked at Guaranty Bank together when I was real young a long time ago. So congratulations again.
Thank you, Mr. Tudor.
Thank you, Mr. Tudor.
Is there any other business to come before this body?
The only comment I'd make is we owe Mike a debt of gratitude for his leadership on the Downtown Development District. He's
Absolutely.
doing a great
Absolutely.
job
Thank you,
of
Mr.
leading
Tudor.
that. Thank you,
You
Mike.
and the entire Downtown
That's right.
Development District Board members, thank you. At this time, I'd like a motion to adjourn and also benediction by Councilman Kevin Dorn.
So move.
Got a motion, second to adjourn. Meeting's adjourned.
Let us pray. Gracious and merciful Father, we come to you again, thanking you for this day. Thank you for what you've done here at this meeting. Father, we ask your continued blessing upon our city. But Father, we know that a lot of good things are happening, and all good and perfect gifts come from you. Father, we will continue to seek wisdom and guidance from you as we deliberate and move forward in the future. We ask for your steady hand and your blessings upon all that is done in this great city of Pineville. These and other blessings we ask in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.